Happy New Year to you all, and we have a very good year this year. Um, I was telling Dave a little while ago, this is going to be like the old movies with the bouncing ball. So if any of you find my mispronunciation, just yell it out what the correct pronunciation is. So there's a whole lot of shaking on for January, and so we've got a few things we're going to explore. That is, of course, if we can keep the Earth to ourselves.
I claim this planet in the name of Mars. Isn't that lovely?
All right. The other day, the Earth reached its closest approach to the sun, perihelion, and that was yesterday. At that time, the Earth was 91,403,034 miles from the sun, or 1,147,098,925 kilometers for those in metric away from the sun. The word perihelion, by the way, is Greek and literally translates to peri, around, and helion, the sun. Uh, the open star cluster 41, also known as the Little Beehive, um, became visible last night at about 9:19 p.m. and reached its highest point in the sky at 11:52. Tonight and on subsequent evenings, it'll reach its highest point 4 minutes later each night. Messier 41 was discovered by Giovanni Battista Hodinata around 1654. It was also perhaps known to Aristotle around 325 BC. It lies about 4 degrees, was almost south of Ceres. At a magnitude of 4.5, M41 is too faint to be seen with the naked eye from anything but the darkest of skies. It will be visible through a pair of binoculars or a small telescope.
You called it the little something?
A little beehive.
The little beehive.
Yeah, when I researched this, that's what they had brought up as the subnomer, if you will. Tonight, the moon will be in its last quarter, also known as a half moon due to the illumination of half its surface area. The third quarter represents the end of the moon's journey. For us, it means a final stage when we complete our work or when our wishes are seated under the new moon. It's a time to let go, relax, empty our minds and souls, and make space for new adventures, plans, and ideas. It is a perfect moment to reflect on what we have learned and what we want to accomplish next. Uh, the Adrenatides, um, Adrenatides meteor shower peaks on January 4th, tomorrow. Um, the Quadrenatides will peak on the night of actually between January 3rd and January 4th, tonight and tomorrow night. The meteor shower is usually active between the end of December and the second week of January and peaks around January 3, 4. Unlike other meteor showers that tend to stay at their peak for about 2 days, this shower only lasts a few hours. The peak only lasts a few hours. And there you can see the relative position in the sky. And maybe we'll get some fireballs out of this one. When I did the research, they indicated that we might be able to get some fireballs out of this one. So keep your fingers crossed.
Tomorrow will be.
And tomorrow will be clear. Yeah, we looked at that before. Yes. Thanks, Dave.
So it is tomorrow night also?
It's tomorrow night also. Yes. Yes. Tomorrow morning?
Right.
Oh, that could be right. That could be right. since it was the 4th, yeah.
It'll be cloudy then, cloudy tomorrow.
It's not luck.
These meteor showers span over days.
We may be able to catch it. Check again tomorrow. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and somebody let me know, please. Oh, yes.
Names are after the form of that.
Quadrantits?
So the quadrant, was the
Yeah, quadrantits. Very cool. Thanks, Dave. Mercury reaches its dichotomy at 3:06 Eastern Standard Time on the 7th. It'll be at its highest point in the morning sky. The half-light of Mercury brightens the morning sky and reaches its highest altitude on January 7th. From our area, this apparition will not be the most prominent and will be tricky to observe as it reaches only about 15 degrees above the horizon at sunrise. And again, I'll mention that again in another slide. Caution about looking at some of these as the morning sun comes up. On January 8th, the moon and Venus will share the same right ascension conjunction, the moon passing 5 degrees, 52 minutes south of Venus. From New York, the pair will be visible soon after the moon rises at 4:39 until just before it sets at 2:15 in the afternoon. The occultation with Antares may be visible from our area with a small telescope. Beginning with the disappearance of Antares Alpha Scorpii, is it decent? Alpha Scorpii, behind the moon at 9:41 Eastern Standard Time. It reappears at 10:52 a.m. And again, this is where the other note comes in. Be careful when you're looking at objects when the sun is up, especially the moon. Mercury will reach its highest separation from the sun in its December-February morning apparition. It will be shining brightly at a magnitude of minus 0.3. From our area, this apparition will be most prominent and will be most prominent, but tricky to observe, reaching its peak altitude of 15 degrees above the horizon at sunrise on January 8th. The moon and Saturn will share the same right ascension, again, conjunction, with the moon passing at 2 degrees 8 minutes to the south of Saturn. The moon will be 3 days old at that point. Around the same time, the two objects will also make a close approach, technically called an appulse. Moon will be at a magnitude of minus 10.5 and Saturn at a magnitude of 0.8, both in the constellation Aquarius. The pair will be too widely separated to fit within the field of view of a telescope. But with a pair of binoculars or with the naked eye, you'll be able to find the two and it'll be visible, like binoculars especially. Messier 47, or NGC 2422, is an open cluster in the southern constellation of Puppis. The open cluster, M47, will be placed in the evening sky on January 15th. It'll be well placed, reaching its highest point around midnight. From New York, it will become visible at around 8:37 p.m. when it lies 18 degrees above the southeastern horizon. It will reach its highest point at 11:52 p.m. at 34 degrees above the southern horizon and become inaccessible at about 3:06 in the morning when it sinks below 18 degrees above the southwestern horizon. Moon enters its first quarter phase on January 17th. The moon will enter this phase appearing prominent in the evening sky and setting in the middle of the night. From our area, it will be visible soon after it rises at 11:06 a.m. until soon after it sets on 12:30 a.m. At this time in the monthly cycle, it appears almost exactly half illuminated. Now the moon and Jupiter will make a close approach, passing within 2 degrees 31 minutes of each other. The moon will be 7 days old at that point. From New York, the pair will be visible soon after the moon rises at 11:33 a.m. until soon before it sets at 1:07 a.m. The moon will be at magnitude minus 12.1, and Jupiter will be at magnitude minus 2.5. Both objects will lie in the constellation Aries. They will be too widely separated to fit within the field of view of a telescope, but will be visible with the naked eye or through a pair of binoculars. The meteor shower Y Ursa Minoris meteor shower will be active from the 15th of January to the 25th. It will produce its great meteors around January 19th. Now, over this period, there will be a chance of seeing meteors whenever the shower radiant point is above the horizon. The number of visible meteors increases the higher the radiant point is in the sky. The radiant point is circumpolar, which means that it'll be always above the horizon. The shower can be active throughout the night. The shower is likely to produce its best display, however, before dawn. Interestingly, we have asteroid 354 Eleonorides, which will be well placed lying in the constellation Canis Major, well above the horizon for much of the night. 354 Eleonorides will reach its highest point at around midnight. From New York, it will be visible with a 4-inch telescope or larger between 7:15 p.m. and 4:27 a.m. It will become visible around 7:15 p.m. when it rises to an altitude of 21 degrees above the eastern horizon. It will reach its highest point in the sky at 11:51 at 58 degrees above the southern horizon. The lunar occultation of Beta Tauri will appear on January 22nd. However, as you'll note, we really won't be able to see it from our area. The event pretty much takes place in the South Pacific. This was an extra slide, sorry. Just did this one. Now, the full moon will appear on the 31st. It is called the wolf moon. It's long believed that the wolves increase their howling during this time of year due to hunger, and given a lack of food sources at this time during the winter months. However, biologists now know that the howling is a territorial act that picks up during the colder months as a way for wolves to stake their claim and make their presence known. On a symbolic level, this moon echoes the survivalist vibes, as the wolf moon is all about protection, security, and empowerment. Ouch!
Wow.
Beehive, the actual beehive cluster, will be well placed on January 31st. An open cluster is made of thousands of stars that are formed from the same giant molecular cloud around the same time. Beehive M44 or NGC 2632 is known as the it's a good one, Dave. Precipice? Thank you. The Precipice, magnitude 3.7. It will be well placed on January 31st, visible with binoculars or a small telescope. The beehive will begin to become visible at around 6:14 in the evening at 16 degrees above the about the eastern horizon. And at dusk it fades as dusk fades into darkness. It will reach its highest point at 11:52 p.m. at 68 degrees above the southern horizon. Visibility will continue until 5:33 a.m. when it sinks below 16 degrees on the western horizon. Now we come to some interesting facts for the month. Father of modern astronomy is what Sir Isaac Newton had become known for. He was born, as you can see, on January 4th, 1643. Sir Isaac Newton was a mathematician, physicist, astronomer, alchemist, theologian, and author who was described in his time as a natural philosopher. He was a key figure in the scientific revolution of the time. Newton built his first practical reflecting telescope and developed a sophisticated theory of color based on the observation that a prism separates white light into colors of the visible spectrum. This month also, born on January 8th, 1942, is a figure that we all know: astronomer, writer, physicist, mathematician, astrophysicist, and university professor. Stephen Hawking, theoretical physicist, and cosmologist, was the director of research at the Center for Theoretical Cosmology at the University of Cambridge at the time of his death. His scientific works include a collaboration with Roger Penrose on gravitational singularity theorems in the framework of general relativity and the theoretical prediction that black holes emit radiation. And there you have it.
That's all, folks.